Hey guys, welcome to Wise Warrior's Path. Thank you for subscribing and watching my videos. Now for tonight, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of advice. Lately, things have been getting pretty bad politically with our countries here in North America. Quite frankly, all English-speaking countries, and as well as politics in general. The laws are starting to get really vindictive, really nasty. Like always, they've been taxing us for a bunch of BS. But lately, the taxing's been getting worse. And when you look at the media doesn't help you, it doesn't educate you. The movies, the music doesn't educate you. All it does is basically distract you, as politics and bureaucracy, right under our feet and right under our noses, basically takes our world away. The world from our children away, from our future away, by imposing a bunch of stupid laws, a bunch of stupid tax, starting a bunch of stupid wars and a bunch of political upheaval all over the world, so that companies and corporations and basically politicians and people with power who have interest to take resources from people and basically to put us under control. Now, I hate making videos like this relating, politics and the world of today. That's why I've been trying to take a break and just focus on my dogs, my martial arts, working, fixing my life, bettering my life. But the country that I live in right now, the area that I live in right now, it's getting really bad with politics. They're starting to introduce a bunch of stupid taxes, a bunch of regulations and laws, regulations on driving, regulations on hunting, licenses, business licenses. The tax is getting ridiculous. They were talking about housing prices in our area being so high that literally old people and families are living in tents. And they said that the way that they're going to be able to solve this sad problem, so in order to combat this as a country, where the government needs to face it. So what they did is impose a new tax on the middle class and imposing tax on homeowners. So basically blaming homeowners for the result of what the banks are doing and what the very own government's doing, and how the government already taxes you for every single thing that you do. You buy food, you're taxed. You make income, you're taxed. Like anything, you're getting taxed. Your property's getting taxed. Every single bloody thing is taxed. And on top of government things, government fees, you're getting taxed on those government fees as well. So I just want to let people know that in these times, you got to stick together as a family, as a community, and you guys got to tackle these things as a community and as a family. Talk to your fellow community, your fellow people, your fellow students, your fellow workers, and say that you guys need to use your voice in order not to just, pay less taxes or find ways around it, but straight up just start speaking out against it. We as communities got to begin to go door to door, street corner to street corner, the way we've always done to protest things. And that's what part of these laws are doing, these hate speech laws, these laws that are basically taking our ability away to be able to question the government consensus. The consensus of the people is what they were saying in Britain. Anyone who questions the consensus of the British government or the consensus of the people, the majority they're talking about, which they're speaking against the majority, should be charged, should be imprisoned, should have basically trouble come to them. And that's kind of what I'm saying. And if it's not trouble or prison, then it's fines. It's things on your record. It's things on your credit record, on your employment record. So basically right now, bureaucracy, and they also want to go cashless. So think about this. The more our society goes cashless and our money's becoming like pesos, literally where our money like a dollar is worth it's almost coming to what pesos are worth. Look up what pesos are worth. Pesos are it's almost like 500 pesos to buy some milk. Okay? And today our prices and our money is devaluing so bad, and it's being done on purpose because they're trying to put all that money in banks. And a point where everything is being used as a credit card or a microchip or whatever it is. So, people got to be aware of that. Call it conspiracy theory, call it paranoid, whatever you call it. Just take a look at your laws right now, how they're being changed radically. for the worse. It doesn't even make sense. They're saying that we're putting laws to stop hateful people, to prevent crazy people, or to prevent problems or racism, when in reality these laws seem like they're the ones that are the most hateful, the most racist, the most degrading to people. And you know, I've made videos like this in the past, and I've actually had channels shut down, believe it or not, because I speak out against things that are political. Because I literally just say question LGBT and the practices that are literally involving pedophilia, where literally kids are getting targeted in these agendas. I've talked against how our education is basically screwed up, on how our media is screwed up, and how it's teaching people to basically have a poor mind. It's basically ill-equipping people for a future that they're supposed to be well-equipped for. And, you know, things like that are just things that people rant about all the time, and I used to make videos on them. But the video that I'm making right now is very serious, and it's just simply relating our laws. It's simply relating the way taxes going up, the way all the money's going up, and then they're also talking about putting basically our money as a cashless society, where it's all basically bank card, or even microchip. Believe it or not, when you begin to study these things that I'm talking about, and a lot of people are talking about, you're going to begin to see how disturbing they are, how real they are, and how they're basically shaping our world. We've studied in the past, you know, the Roman Empire, kings, queens, you know, like the conquest of America, basically the wars of religion and all that stuff. And we've always known that the government, nobles, people with a lot of power, have always found ways to manipulate the people, send them to war, basically use them as cannon fodder, destroy people's lives for benefit, also for control, and the excuse of also overpopulation. And here in North America, we think that we got an innocent system, but we do got a system that's very well involved with like eugenics. We have death panels, basically where poor people are given different treatments to people who are middle class and people who are of more fortunate status. So basically here, we also do the first class, middle class, and third class. And you can see it also on airplanes, you know, first class, second class, and third class. And that's how our society is. You should study what's happening with genetically modified food. And the majority of the people that are buying genetically modified food, which genetically modified food gives you cancers, it gives you all sorts of ailments. It's basically middle class and poor people who are able to afford it. They're talking about vaccines giving kids Alzheimer's because these vaccines have formaldehyde in them. They got aluminum in them. And this is being injected in our kids, and it's being connected to Alzheimer's. It's being connected to autism. And the thing is that in Europe, they're discovering that these vaccines that they're giving kids are connected to autism. And that a lot of kids don't need the majority of these vaccines that they're giving nowadays. And what our media did is block it. And nowadays, they got this thing called fake news, while the media itself, the news itself, is spreading a bunch of misinformation, fake things, lies, BS. And these are the kind of things that we are dealing with. And quite frankly, in North America, you know, we're supposedly talking about these American dreams and leading by example, being equal with everybody, rights for LGBT, to the point where they're literally bringing in pedophilia, rights for basically people who are frauding, who are destroying basically our system, rights for politicians to basically tax us and rob us and send us to war. But what about our rights as people? We're losing our rights, we're losing our health. The life expectancy of people is going down as they're getting more ill, more worse. They're not able to basically find jobs, go to school. And I don't think this also has to do with overpopulation. It has to do with our government and politicians and the people who tax us, worried about overpopulation because competition is going to begin to challenge them. It has nothing to do with not being able to feed people. Look how much our industries and companies waste food. Literally, companies and places are ordered to throw away food in order not to basically give it to poor people because they couldn't buy it. You know what I'm saying? It's not about overpopulation. It's about basically being overtaxed. It's about our system being overpopulated with a bunch of parasites and leeches that are basically robbing us dry. You know what I'm saying? So this video is just a warning to all of you. Like this isn't anything in specific, it's just everything in general. Study what's happening today and begin to be as a community, be as a family, and begin to talk to other families, other communities, and begin to use your voice. Because that's what I saw. They're saying that in order to combat poverty, they gotta tax people more. For what? For what? Why do you think old people are living in tents and families are living in tents? Why? Because we're being taxed to death in the first place. Because banks are raising the prices on our mortgages and our property value. And then people think that just because they sell their house for $1 million that they're rich. Look at everything now. Go use that $1 million to buy a new house. You think you're going to get a better house after you sold your house for $1 million? No. You're going to be in debt again. You're not going to be able to afford food still. You're still getting ripped off. You know what I'm saying? So people got to study that. Let's tax the people because people don't have enough money to pay for rent. Hello? Maybe stop taxing us and maybe put the banks in question rather than taxing us. Till next time, guys. Sorry for the rant being a little bit aggressive and stuff like that. I hope it's not hate speech or some sort of hate for literally expressing your valid opinion as a citizen, as a human being. But anyways, guys, till next time, you take care and goodbye.